This is part one of 4 parts.
So we have this organizing model into which we put all of TA and all of everything else we do because it just makes sense to us. And you'll see as we go how you can drop in the stuff that you know. This is not TA, as I say, this is Weiss. So we start with the idea. Oh, this thing has a title. It's called the recyclotron, which we invented some years ago, and you'll see why later.
And it's called the needs response model in that yellow book back there, Recovery from Codependency.
Yeah. So we start with the idea that by being alive and by being human, we have natural kinds of needs and feelings. They're just hardwired into us. There is a state of not needing anything. It's called death. But other than that, needs arise from time to time. And a need is an internal condition which is not visible on the outside. So in order for a need to have any impact, for anything to happen about it, there has to be some sort of behavior that expresses it. A baby is hungry, that's internal. The baby cries, that's a natural behavioral expression of the need for hunger. Whether you're talking about an infant or a grown-up person, you have more or less range of possible different behavioral expressions. So the more mature, the more possible expressions of a given need there are. What the need does is organize energy to produce a behavior. Let me back up a second. If you're hungry and you're driving down the street, you notice all the signs for restaurants and for food and stuff like that. If you're not hungry and you drive down the same street, your system is not organized to process that information. It just sort of flows by. So there's energy involved, and what the need does is focus that energy generally into some kind of behavior, whether it's search or go out and get kind of behavior, in order to get the need fulfilled. Once you behave, once you do something that has an impact outside your skin, there's going to be a response to that behavior, and the response, in this case that we're going to describe, is that the need gets met. So you're hungry, you cry for food, mommy comes and feeds you. You're 4 years old, you're hungry, you go to the refrigerator and open it and take out an apple. The need gets met. The behavior has an impact on the world around you. It may be a transactional impact or it may be something you do yourself. But your experience is that whatever the need was that drove that behavior gets met. And as a result, the behavior is reinforced. Straight learning theory, you're more likely to do that again the next time the need arises. And the energy is released. Now, to get an image of what that means is it's like your left shoulder blade itches and somebody comes along and scratches the right one, and it feels good, but it's not until they hit the spot that itches that you go, ah. That sense of release of energy is characteristic of the experience of actually getting a need met. And what happens to that energy is it's free to move on to the next need. Okay? It's a very simple cycle. Now, this whole cycle of needing something, expressing the need in some way that's effective to get it met, we call the OK cycle. And all of the therapeutic interventions that you can imagine, from our perspective, are designed for the purpose of getting the person back into an OK cycle, because they may not be there, and we'll show you why. If we go back to the natural behavioral expression.
Just a minute. I just want to say a little more about it.
Well, go right ahead.
Okay.
Should I go back?
No.
Okay.
No. When we do that and another person is involved, it's a certain kind of stroking. And the most impactful strokes are the ones that create that cycle. You don't have to be a therapist to be aware of that cycle. And what we do, we're therapists for I don't know how many years now.
Too many.
Too many. I got my clinical membership in 1972, and his was before that, so that's a long time. But we also I do management consulting. We both do coaching. We do teaching. We raise children. We raised grandchildren. We're not raising grandchildren, but we're with grandchildren. 4 in Houston. So we're constantly looking at this cycle. This cycle is the core of everything that I look at whenever I'm working with people in whatever situation. I'm looking for this.
This is the end of part 1. Please go on to part 2.